Hello, fourth and fifth graders. I hope your first week, maybe first 2 weeks, have gone well. I know there have been a lot of changes this year to adjust to, but I want to take a moment to say that you are all doing such a great job. You are all being so flexible and adaptable, and it's amazing to see. I hope you love your new classrooms. They look awesome, and I really just hope that things are going well. So, for this week, we are going to be talking about Word of the Month. And Word of the Month is different every month, and you might remember it from last year, which is great. And if this is new, that's totally okay too, because this is new for me too. But Word of the Month is a highlighted word that we will talk about, learn about, and then think about how we can show this word at school, at home, in the community. So the word every month is a character trait. So something you can display or something others can display or do. So responsibility is our word for September. So we can be responsible, we can show responsibility here at school. And responsibility means we do what's expected of us. We make safe choices. We are doing our job and our work, and we are being accountable for our behavior. So that's a lot of stuff for one word. So let's break it down and go through some examples. So here is our behavior matrix. You guys might have seen these before in your classroom, hallway, specialist, wherever. And a new addition to the matrix this year is this responsible with trustworthy. And so this means that we are responsible for our own actions. We are responsible for what we do. We are responsible for our materials. So let's go through some examples of what responsibility looks like here at school. And there's some new ones this year, like our mask is a huge new thing. This isn't something we have had to do before, but being responsible for that mask, wearing that mask over your nose and your mouth, wearing it on a lanyard will be helpful for when you go outside or when you go to lunch. Bringing that iPad everyday charged, that's a brand new thing that we have to be responsible for. When we're walking, we're holding it safely. We are remembering to charge it at night. Those are all new things and new ways to show responsibility. So on here, there are so many different ways to be responsible that you guys are already doing such a great job with. The lunchroom has a whole new system, and you guys are rocking that. You're sitting on those X's. You are waiting in a socially distanced line. You are raising your hand when you're ready to go up. You're putting your mask back on after you eat. All excellent ways to show responsibility. All right, I am just jumping all over on these screens today, but today, specifically for responsibility, I wanted to talk about choices and consequences. So let's break that down. Choices. Choices are what we do all day long. We make decisions, we make choices about our actions, our behavior, our words. That is our choice. We are the only people in charge of what we do. And these choices are our personal responsibility. That means what I choose to do is my responsibility. How I choose to act, that is my responsibility. And then consequences is what happens because of that choice. And I know when we hear consequence, we automatically think negative. I get that. I do the same exact thing, but consequences can be positive or negative. Because we automatically think negative, I'm not going to use the word consequence. I'm going to use what happens. So we make a choice. That choice is on us. We got to own that choice. And then because of that choice, something happens. Ideally, something positive happens because of that choice, but that's not always the case. So how can we make responsible choices to have positive outcomes? Let's go through a few examples together. 1 second. All right, choice. Thinking before you speak to make sure your words are kind. I think that's a positive choice. What's going to happen because we make that choice? People will think you're nice and want to be your friend. Awesome. Sounds like a great choice to me. Ooh, writing down all of your homework. So that is something we can be responsible. We need to write down our homework. We need to be responsible for keeping track of what we need to do. So if we follow that, what will be the outcome? You'll hopefully remember to do your homework. Again, positive. We are responsible for remembering to do our homework. We are responsible for writing in our planner. We are responsible for remembering all those distance learning things, which I know is tough. I know that's a lot, but I also know you guys can do it. Not asking questions when you're confused in math. Do we think this is a responsible choice or a not responsible choice? I would say that's not a responsible choice, and we might have a negative outcome because of that, because we're going to be confused and not know how to do our homework or the assignment or how to complete a question on a test. And I know sometimes it might seem scary to raise your hand and ask a question, but every single teacher here wants to know when you have a question. They want to help you. So the more we raise our hand and ask a question, the more helpful that is. So what might happen? Morning, Bell. That should say you, not your. You won't understand the math. You'll have a hard time on the assignment. Choice, talking to your friends instead of working. Do we think that's responsible or not responsible? I'd say not responsible. Sometimes it might be okay to quietly chat while you're working on something, but if it's silent time or your teacher has given you work time to finish something up, let's be responsible and use that so we don't have homework, so we can get our stuff done, so our teacher will be there if we have any questions. You won't get your work done. That would be your consequence. That would be what happens. Talking it out with a person you have a conflict or problem with. And talking it out means you are calmly chatting with them, letting them know how you feel, and working together to find a solution. So let's look at what might happen and decide if we think that was a responsible choice or not. The problem with the person gets better. That's what I would want. I want my problems to get better. So talking it out, working together, solving something, responsible choice. Ignoring gossip instead of repeating it. What might happen? What might the consequence be? You will stay out of drama and not hurt any feelings. So I would say that's a positive consequence. Remember, again, that consequences can be positive or negative, even though we normally think of them just as negative, but this one would be a positive consequence. So ignoring gossip, responsible choice. Reading at home every night. What do you think? Responsible or not? You become a better reader. I'd say that is pretty responsible. Stealing a hat from someone's backpack. Responsible or not? One, there's most likely going to be a negative consequence if we're stealing. That's not okay. That is not allowed. And two, you are going to hurt someone's feeling, and again, not okay. So, not responsible, not okay. Stealing is against the law. Admitting when you've made a bad choice or mistake. Responsible or not? Responsible. You're more likely to gain trust of adults, teachers, parents. All right. Having a messy and disorganized backpack. Does that show responsibility? What do you think? I would say no. You might lose important papers. You're probably going to lose the assignments. You might misplace your iPad. Not responsible. Responsibility is keeping your workspace, your backpack clean and organized. It's keeping track of that iPad.